Okay, so I have made a big decision and I wanted to share it with everyone who has been with me on this journey. I have decided to leave Israel and go back to London. So I will no longer be Aliyah. I've been here for nearly 5 years, four and 3/4 years now, and I've had the most incredible, most amazing time ever. But I just don't feel like my future is in Israel. And the main reason for that is because, yes, I'm single and yes, I haven't met someone yet. But even if I did meet someone, I kind of realized that I want to have my family near my family. And, obviously this has been a hard year for everyone, COVID, Corona year. And anyone living apart from loved ones has really felt it. And I was feeling it so much a year ago in March, April, when we, were in the first lockdown. And I think it just kind of accelerated a lot of feelings for me, and just kind of realizing how much I miss my family and how much I want my future to be with my family. I'm very close to them. I'm very, very lucky to have that kind of situation. When I say my family, I've got, parents that are amazing and supportive, a sister who's like my best friend. She's married, she's pregnant, and like, wow, so exciting. And then, I've got cousins and aunts and uncles and my grandma. And, before I even start on my old friends, I actually have a huge, amazing, wonderful family to be part of. And I really feel like that's what I want for my future. And you know what, actually, I kind of met a guy at the beginning of 2020, and it didn't work out. And that was really upsetting and frustrating. But on the other hand, he was Israeli and he was very ingrained in Israel. And I was like, actually, I think this is probably for the best, because I don't think I want to be here long term. So that kind of all happened around the same time, and then the lockdown and everything. So yeah, and then also, my career, I love working in TV, but actually there's quite limited opportunities in Israel. But obviously in London, there's loads. And I've actually been so lucky that, my company, Armoza, was bought by ITV in 2019. And so now I can stay with Armoza but work from the ITV office, and actually suits everybody. Like, it suits Armoza to have someone in London, it suits me to be able to work from London and still keep my connection to Israel. And it will give me what I want, which is more opportunity and an opportunity to grow within the ITV family. So wow, I'm so lucky. I know how lucky I am to be going home with a job. So thank you, Armoza and ITV. And it's so cool that I'm coming back to London and saying I work as part of ITV, and I get to keep doing my amazing, cool job. And I think that's the other thing, is that I'm leaving Israel, but not because it didn't work out for me, not because I had a hard time. It's been the best time ever. I mean, I've had the most amazing friends, as I've talked about a lot. And especially in this COVID year, we've just all become closer and closer than ever, more and more supportive of each other. We all live around the corner from each other in the approved living area that I mapped out. So we're never more than a 10-minute walk, or it's not too far to carry a chair and a Tupperware for Shabbat dinner. I got to live with one of my best friends, Lee, in the most beautiful flat, 3-minute walk from the beach. I had this dream job, everything was amazing. And especially now in Israel, everyone's had the vaccine and things are opening up and it's going to be really fun again. But, throughout this year, we were able to have pockets of fun and still, keep in our little bubbles when necessary, and, really support each other and still have a great time. So I know I'm so, so grateful for this life that I've had, and I just can't believe I got to live it. And I don't really know how to describe it. When you go through, we all a lot of us were new to Israel together, a load of Olim, made a WhatsApp group and we went out a lot. And we had various girls groups and everything. And you kind of go through this shared experience and it just bonds you for life. But it does feel for me that I'm ready for a change. And it also means a change in my lifestyle as well. I know London is going to be so different. There's no spontaneous who's around the corner, grab a drink, grab a table and save 20 places just in case other people turn up. But on the other hand, and I love the partying, I love the bars, I love bootleg, I'm going to miss my bootleg club. and being a club promoter, But I'm excited for what London's got to offer: culture, going to the theatre, going to museums, exhibitions, like boutique markets, and, driving around, going to visit castles for afternoon tea and, things like that, and taking advantage of being in, obviously this is when the world goes back to normal, but, I'm an optimist. Taking advantage of being in Europe and being able to fly to Rome for like £50 and, I feel like I'm going to really appreciate London, and I'm ready to fall back in love with London and being in a central European city, with all the access and ease and Marks and Spencer's and Amazon delivery, all these exciting things like Tesco's local. So it's been a huge decision. It was a very long process, the same way that making Aliyah was a long process for me. I kind of had started having these thoughts in March, April of last year, and, kind of trying to work out how it's going to work, what it's going to look like, and then kind of making the real final decision sort of like June, July, but then always having the ability to change my mind. And am I really going to go through with it? And my friends are like, how can you leave? And I'm like, I know, how can I leave? Anyway, I was supposed to go in December. January, December, then January, like flights keep getting changed because of the pandemic. And then I had my flight booked early January, and I literally packed my bags, finished work, in Israel, took a week off, packed, did hundreds of goodbye things with all my close friends, all special things, all my special friends. And then it was like, we were sitting in my lounge, a few of us, and everyone's talking about the vaccine. The vaccine has come to Israel. And now people are queuing up at the end of the day to get spares. And my friends were like, oh, should we go do that tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I can't go, because if I get it, then I'm flying in 3 days and I won't be here for the second vaccine. And then I was like, am I going to be an idiot? If they go tomorrow and they all get the vaccine and I'm just sat here like an idiot, that would be so stupid. And then I was like, and I'm flying to London, a place where the vaccine's not going to be available for my age group for a very long time. And so then I said to Lee, like, do you think I can stay in my room? Do you mind if I stay a bit longer? And she was like, oh, well, I was going to sublet it to Stacey because she's renting out her blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she's like, but I'm sure Stacey can find somewhere else to go for 3 weeks. So sorry again, Stacey, and thank you, Pam and Harel, for taking her in. And then I called Avi to be like, Avi, so I know I finished working and everything, but do you think I can carry on working for another few months in Israel because I want to stay and get the vaccine? He's like, I think that's the best decision. And everyone in London was like, yes, of course. We were all saying, don't come to London now. Things are terrible here. And they were in January. And then the very next day, there was like a huge lockdown in London announced for like a month and a half. And everyone was just like, why would you have come now? Thank goodness you've made that decision. Thank goodness, if Lee'd rented out my room to like a person who was taking it permanently, I wouldn't have been able to stay. Or if Avi was like, no, we've closed everything down and you have to work from London now, it's not possible to reopen it, then I wouldn't have been able to stay. Or if I didn't have a job, I'm so lucky that I have this job, that I'm able, Almoza being bought by ITV last year. And wow, did I already say this? Oh my God, I don't even remember. I'll say it again just in case. Almoza was bought by ITV in 2019. So I'm so lucky that I can continue doing my job, but working from London out of the ITV office. It really works well for Almoza because they're happy to have an Almoza person, based in ITV and being able to do more information sharing. I'm focusing on the UK as one of my many territories, so it's better to be here. And so and I also get to keep my connection with Israel. So really, it means when I come back to visit, I'll come for a few weeks and just work from the Almoza office and blah, blah, blah. And, we've been working remotely for a year. So having me based in London working remotely suddenly doesn't seem like such a big change. So anyway, I really know how lucky I am to be able to do that. So decided to stay to get my vaccine. That was a funny couple of weeks where we were running around trying to get end of the day vaccines. And it was like being in an apocalypse movie. That's the one time I felt like we were in that situation. We went to like an underground car park in Givatayim, which, we weren't really even supposed to go to a different city. But if you're going to get your vaccine, it's allowed. But we didn't technically have an appointment. So, fuzzy. And then we're like waiting and everyone's got their masks on and it's grey and cold and nighttime. And you wait till the end and you're watching people going in and trying to count, you know, the people who've got appointments, how many people are left who don't have appointments. And then this woman comes out and everyone's edging forward, but like saying, stay away from me, don't get too close. And then she's calling out, right, anyone here still over 40? And then like, who didn't have an appointment, so someone goes forward and they're like, how many are left? And then she's like, anyone pregnant here? Because they started giving it to pregnant people. And then they were giving it to teenagers, like the ones who were doing their matriculation, the 18 and 19-year-olds, 17, any of those. And everyone's edging forward, looking around. Anyway, we like trying to get the last resources that are available in the apocalypse. Anyway, we didn't get them. But then like 3 weeks later, we got ours naturally. Our age group came up, so it was fine. So I'm so lucky, so grateful that I stayed. Thank you, Israel. I'm vaccinated. I have had both my vaccines for quite a long time now, since February. So that made things traveling home much easier. And actually, yeah, so I'm gonna show you, I did a video in the airport, so I'm gonna show that now, and then I'll actually do another half. I think, wow, this is so long. Sorry, guys. Hope you're still listening and enjoying it.